am I missing something? Am I just missing the mark here? Am I the fool in this situation? The model is so pretty, but like, what is that telling us? Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. That was super sweet of you. Oh my goodness, let's zoom you in for the eye look. Today's eye look was actually created from some polls I put up on my Instagram stories. If you guys aren't following me on Instagram, you totally should, because I ask you to help me with my makeup looks all the time. But per the results of the polls, I did my eye makeup using all eyeshadow today. Even this liner was used by mixing a mixing medium with the orange shade and the purple shade, and then the chartreuse shade I just threw all over my lid. And the colors were chosen by the polls too. I asked if you wanted warm tones or cool tones or both, and you voted for both, so that's why I got the purple and the orange and the chartreuse, and I just really love the way it turned out. I love the Blend Bunny Blends palette. I feel like I mention it in every single video, but I'm also wearing it in every single video. When I love a palette, I really love on a palette, and I really freaking love on this Blend Bunny Blends palette. And also, if you like the little stars in my inner corners and brow bone, you can get these on Amazon. I got a set of 3, like I have 2 other packs of gems and a gem picker and a long pair of tweezers that all came with this set. I will absolutely link it down below if you want to get into gems and you don't want to spend a lot of money. But that's not what this video is about. You did not click on this video to find out the details of my eye look, or maybe you did. It's my favorite part of the video. No, you clicked on this video because you, like me, have an interest in makeup marketing that I love and makeup marketing that I hate. I have been wanting to make a video like this for so long because if you're a frequenter of my anti-hauls, you know that I always have like little things about the makeup marketing that also bothers me aside from just the products. And I've been taking notes on my phone for like multiple months. Every time I see a makeup marketing thing that I'm like, ooh, that really hits, that's awesome. And every time I see a marketing thing that I'm like, oh my gosh, how did this make it to production? This is terrible. So I thought today we could sit down and talk about it all. I think marketing in general is so interesting. How things are marketed, especially in such an oversaturated beauty market. Like, you really gotta have some good marketing to stand out. And sometimes marketing makes you stand out in a bad way. So if that sounds like a topic that is interesting to you and you want to talk all about some beauty marketing things that I love and hate, then I encourage you to please subscribe and keep on watching because it's coming at you right now. Okay, so the way I want to organize this video is to break it into categories. So the first category I'm going to talk about things I both love and hate is swatches. Now that can be swatches of eyeshadows, it can be swatches of foundation, swatches of primers, which we'll get to that. I got a lot of thoughts on swatches of primers. But first we'll talk about eyeshadow swatches, because I feel like when it comes to eyeshadow swatches, you're on like 2 polar opposite ends of the spectrum. You're either like, yes, give me swatches, swatches tell me everything, or you're like, no, I don't want to see the swatches, they're never accurate anyways. And that's what brings me to my criticism here. A lot of times swatches on makeup brands' websites can look photoshopped onto multiple skin tones, and a good way to figure this out is if they look exactly the same on every skin tone, probably photoshopped, because, you know, even if they're super pigmented, your skin is going to affect the way that the swatches show up. I know a brand that's been criticized of that before, I think was Stila. Stila allegedly just like turned down the brightness on their white model skin to make it look like they did swatches on models with 2 different skin tones, which sucks. Natasha Denona is another one who has been criticized of photoshopping swatches onto different arms, and to that it's like, it's just so frustrating because it feels very lazy. Like, if it is just for lazy reasons, that's almost more annoying than it being to make the eyeshadow look better than it is, because how much longer would it have taken to just swatch the things on other people's arms? I don't know. Anyway, I know that's definitely given me a lot of hesitation when I look at swatches online. I also feel like I very rarely received a palette where the swatches in real life looked exactly like the swatches online. So I don't know. You guys let me know how you feel about arm swatches in general. I don't feel like they tell me a whole lot. But I will tell you a marketing technique that I love when it comes to arm swatches. And I find that indie makeup brands tend to do this a lot, and I don't know why bigger brands don't do it more, but I love when brands show you swatches in real time in multiple types of lighting. One, if you're doing the swatches in real time, like it's obviously they're real because you can't Photoshop. I don't know, maybe you could with advanced video technology, but you know, it's real if you can see them swatching it in real time, so that's helpful. Also showing it in multiple types of lighting. I love when brands show you lighting in studio lighting, you know, like in front of studio lights, but then also show it to me in natural lighting. lighting outside, and then I also want to see it with flash, without flash. I think the more types of lighting you show something in, the better idea we can get of what it looks like. Whereas so often brands only give us the studio lighting version, and most of us aren't walking around with studio lights in front of us in real life. You know, I got a ring light in front of me right now, but when I leave the house, I don't have the ring light with me. You know, people are gonna see me in natural lighting or in fluorescent lighting and store lighting, because I really only wear my makeup looks to the grocery store. So while I understand from a business perspective, you know, if I put my little professional business cap on, that I do understand why you want to have a really nice, well-lit photo of arm swatches, from a consumer perspective, I am far more likely to buy something if you also show me what it looks like in natural lighting. So that's really my thoughts on eyeshadow swatches. Now I want to talk to you guys about foundation swatches. How do you feel about foundation swatches? Because I personally don't care about them at all. I don't find them to be helpful at all, because no one's swatching their foundations on. I shouldn't say that. When it comes to like a full coverage foundation, okay, maybe that makes sense for a full coverage foundation, but when it comes to skin tints, those little army swatches aren't really telling me anything. At least not those alone. Like, if brands wanted to still come out with the arm swatches for foundations, okay, but I also want to see them swatched on faces. I would love to see somebody fully wearing it on their face, and I know some brands do that, but specifically when it comes to skin tints, I'm sorry, I promise I'm bringing it all together. I know I'm a little scatterbrained right now, but when it comes to skin tints specifically, I don't understand only releasing it as arm swatches. If you do still want to do swatches, I would love to see it swatched on a cheek, because look at my arm versus my face. My arm is translucent, my arm's freaking blue, you can see my veins through it. Like, swatching here doesn't do as much as when you swatch on your actual cheek, you know? Or if anything, you can swatch on your chest. I know watching Jackie Aina videos, she swatches on her chest a lot because she feels like that's a better match. So I just feel like these arm swatches for foundations, not really giving me anything, not really giving me any intel up here, you know? And then, like I mentioned, you know, sometimes makeup brands will show you a person's face wearing the foundation. I think that's phenomenal, especially when they do a before and after. I love that, because if you're just showing me the after, that doesn't tell me anything about the coverage. I don't know what their skin looked like before. But something I would like to request that I don't see a lot is when it comes to skin tints, and you know how a lot of these makeup brands have started marketing their skin tints as, oh, they're flexible, that's why we only came out with 20 shades, or we only came out with 12 shades because they're flexible. Prove it then. Show it to me on multiple model skin tones. If the shades are as flexible as you say they are, show me 3 different people wearing the same shade. That would sell me. That would absolutely sell me. And where I've noticed this the most recently is with the new Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Foundation launch, and I'm not singling her out, this is just the one I noticed the most recently, because I went online to try to shade match myself, and the Sephora shade matcher literally just rejected me. It said, no, there's no shade for you, which I'm like, what the heck, there has to be a shade. But I was looking through all of the models wearing the shades, and I'm like, none of their skin looks quite exactly like mine. And you're saying, oh, they're flexible. Okay, it would have been nice to see that flexibility. Showing the same shade on multiple skin tones to prove that it is flexible kind of makes me feel like it's not flexible when you're not actually showing that flexibility. Especially so many of these skin tint releases come out and say, oh, they're flexible, but then they all have warm undertones, and us cool toned friends over here are like, what? How is that gonna be flexible on me? Flexibility doesn't really work when it comes to not being the right undertone, you know? So I would just like to see the proof in the pudding when it comes to these flexible shades. Show it to me on multiple models so you can really see that. I will say a brand that did that I really enjoyed is Auric, Samantha Ravindal's brand. When they came out with their Glow Lust, you know, she was very big. One, this is not a foundation. She was very clear on that. Not a foundation, it's an all-over glow. But when she said that shades could work on multiple skin tones, she actually proved that, and she came out with campaign photos showing people of varying skin tones wearing the same shade. And I really appreciated that, because she literally showed the proof. She said, here is one shade on 3 different models, and this is what it looks like on all of them. And I think that's awesome. You know, that's something we see all the time when it comes to lip glosses. That seems to be more of a given. So yeah, I really appreciated Auric doing that. Again, I know it's not a skin tint, not a foundation or anything, but even better, you know? Because I feel like when we see these universal highlighters advertised, or, you know, universal products, other products that are flexible that aren't like skin products, brands are happy to show it on multiple skin tones, but then when it comes to an actual foundation, they're not showing it on multiple skin tones, which makes me think that they're lying. But maybe they're not, but they could just put, you know, a little bit more marketing out about that. So, oh wow, I talked about swatches for a long time. I didn't intend to talk that long about swatches. So now let's move on to my next category of makeup marketing, which is how brands market primers. Now, I personally am someone who does not have many primers in their collection. In fact, I have like one primer in my collection. It's just the Auric Glow Lust, and I feel like that has a lot to do with the way that primers are marketed. I wanted to point out one specific image in particular because I just thought this was so funny, but Benefit posted this image for their newest primer, and they showed this image of just like a swatch on this absolutely stunning model's face, and it just made me laugh so much because I'm like, it's a primer that tells me nothing. Like, it's a really cute campaign image. Like I said, the model is so pretty, but like, what is that telling us? And you see that so often where brands show you a swatch of the primer, and I get it, they're trying to show you texture and everything, but I just feel like so many brands are just missing the mark with primer marketing. A brand that I'll say has done a great job of marketing their primer, so much to the point where I am about to spend $38 on this primer because it actually looks really good, is Youthforia. They kind of started going viral on TikTok because they have this color changing blush, but they recently came out with a primer that is supposed to like keep your skin healthy underneath your makeup. Like, it's supposed to create like an actual barrier, and they have done such a good job marketing this primer because they have showed how products work on top of it. They've swatched blushes over it, showing how much more pigmented things look over it. They also did this incredible ad. Oh, I really hope I can find it so I can show it to you. But basically, they had this person put a swatch of the primer, I think it was on their neck or something, and then put a product over it that was irritating to them, and they showed it on the part of the skin with no primer, and the person's skin like started to turn red and irritated, and then the spot with primer, it didn't get irritated, and I was like, I'm sold. I'm absolutely sold. Like, that is such good marketing for a primer. Like, show us how it actually works. You know, sometimes brands will show us like, oh, a person's skin before and after, you know, like they want to show the pore filling thing. And okay, yeah, I guess that's fair. But most people aren't gonna wear a primer on its own, you know, unless it's like an all-in-one type of thing where it's like, oh, wear it with or without makeup. I don't know. But if you are marketing your primer to be worn under makeup, show us what the makeup looks on top of it. I think it's a great idea to do a little half and half of the face, you know, put someone in half a face of your primer, no primer on the other side, and then put a full face of makeup over it, and then show us the difference. Beauty gurus do this all the time. It has been done for years, so it's always baffling to me when these makeup brands don't take advantage of those strategies in their marketing for primers. And like with all of this, you know, some brands do. Like I said, Youthforia has, Milk Makeup is another one. When they came out with their new eye primer that was like supposedly for the under eyes and on the eyelids themselves, they did really good campaign marketing where they showed like how pigmented a shadow looked over their primer versus with no primer. So like, it has been done before, which is why it's just like baffling to me when some brands don't want to do it, because like you have these clear examples of good primer marketing. So yeah, primer marketing just always stands out to me. You know, maybe it's just lazy. Maybe they don't think they need to market primer as much because they're just like, ah, whatever, it's not an eyeshadow palette. We're not going to put all of our marketing budget into this primer. We're just going to show a quick swatch on the face or a swatch on the wrist or do a little fun texture shot for you, and maybe you'll buy it, you know? But as someone who's very picky about primers, I want more primer marketing. Now, speaking of texture shots, we were just talking a lot about those texture shots that a lot of primer launches will do. I want to talk about texture shots for eyeshadows. Something I've noticed more and more over the last couple years is brands posting a picture of the eyeshadow palette for their launch, and then underneath it posting like a crushed up version of the same palette. The image that I saved for this, and they're not the only ones that do this, but the image I saved for this is Jason Wu showed like this beautiful eyeshadow palette, and then underneath it you see like crushed versions of all the eyeshadows. And what does that do? Am I missing something? Am I just missing the mark here? Am I the fool in this situation? Because every time I see those, I'm like, okay, like, yeah, yes, give us nothing. I don't know what that's supposed to tell me, you know? At least with swatches, you can say like, okay, we're gonna see the true pigmentation if they're not lying and photoshopping their swatches. You're gonna see the true pigmentation over somebody's arm versus just like in the pan. But these crushed versions, I'm just not really sure what they're supposed to do. Maybe it can show you more if there's like glitter or shimmer in something. Like maybe it shows the dimension more in that way. Hi, editing me popping in to say that I can definitely see more now how the crushed versions of the swatches look more dimensional, especially when it comes to the shimmers, but I still don't find them to be all that useful because you're not going to be putting that much eyeshadow on your eyes. You know, you're not going to have like a huge chunk, a huge swipe, a huge crushed amount of eyeshadows on your eyes. So is it really gonna look that dimensional on the eyes? I feel like the money spent on those shots would have been better spent on like doing actual eye swatches, but they might also have actual eye swatches. I just feel like these are silly. I don't know, let me know what you think. Especially where I've been talking about throughout this video, how makeup brands have a certain budget for marketing. So obviously they can't do 1,000 different campaigns for every single launch. And I totally understand that, you know, even with big makeup brands, they do have to, you know, spread out their marketing budget. They're gonna put some of that into influencer marketing, some of that into paying models, some of that into doing like commercial advertising. So I understand having to budget things out, but that's why it's even just like funnier to me when so many brands seem to dedicate the budget to doing these interesting texture shots. And here's the deal, I like seeing texture shots when it comes to lipstick, when it comes to cream products. I think those make more sense because I'm like, show me the sheen, you know? You can sometimes see the sheen better when you really crush up a lipstick because there can sometimes be a film on the outside of a new lipstick. So I like to see crushed up cream products, but when it comes to crushed up powder products, again, just doesn't really tell me anything. I know this is a little nitpicky, but I mean, this whole video is nitpicky, you know? I'm not sitting here just trying to like criticize. I'm trying to provide constructive criticism and also to facilitate, you know, discussion in the comments. Maybe some of you work for a makeup brand. Maybe you can tell me the purpose behind this tactic and does it sell more eyeshadow palettes versus when you don't include these? I don't know. I would love to know. I have a very curious mind, so I certainly would love to know if you know why they do this. All right, you guys, that is all of the beauty marketing tactics. Beauty marketing I love versus beauty marketing I hate. I feel like I did more than I hate in this video. I threw out some good things there too. You know, there's a lot of makeup brands that are doing really good beauty marketing. I meant to mention this one before. A beauty marketing thing that I absolutely love that I have noticed Danessa Myricks has started doing is using arm models with different sized arms for arm swatches. It sounds like something you would just take for granted and not even think about, but I noticed it when I started seeing the campaign photos and it just brought me so much joy because how often do we see arm swatch photos that are just like 3 different skin tone arms but are all just like the same size, super skinny arm? It's not something I really noticed until I saw it presented differently, like when Danessa Myricks showed different sized arms. I was like, oh wow, that's representation right there. That's really awesome. So that is a beauty marketing thing that I absolutely love, and I hope she continues to do that. I hope more makeup brands do that. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna talk about today. I could definitely do more videos on this topic. If you're interested, let me know in the comments down below what beauty marketing things you love and what beauty marketing things you hate. Are you as interested in beauty marketing as I am? Ugh, I just find it such a fascinating topic because like I said at the beginning, this business is oversaturated. You have new makeup brands and beauty brands and skincare brands launching every single day, celebrity beauty brands launching every single day, so you gotta stand out, and that's why I really like talking about marketing and how it can sell products. So I thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I post new videos every Monday and Thursday, and I live stream those Saturdays. Check out my description box for all of the makeup details on my face today. Also in my description box, I'll have a bunch of Black Lives Matter resources to support the Asian American community, resources to support the LGBTQ+ community, and resources to support Ukraine. So please click on those links if you haven't yet. And I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!